Hello and welcome to another video. Today we are looking at Angelic Advent. It is a 16-second long cooldown, has a 0 power and 0 range. And essentially, when you press it, you fly up into the air and you have wings on. And these wings allow you to fly around the map. In addition to this, when you use it, you get your ninja tools back immediately. So, let's say for example, I just used something that has a 40-second cooldown. I could literally use this ninjutsu and I'd get it back instantaneously. Now, the thing is, it does have power. It has a power of 1, I'd say, and its range is roughly, I would say, 3 to 4. Because when you use the ninja tool button, when you're flying in the air, it actually shoots out a shuriken, or if you press square, triangle, whatever you press. So obviously, the actual description is misleading, but other than that, you'll see now, this is where you have your wings and you're flying. So yeah, pretty cool. You can use it effectively for base battle and such. Those are the kunais that I was talking about. But yeah, um, it's a very annoying ninjutsu because when you do use it, you can keep hitting someone over and over again. And if you're moving, it technically actually increases in rate of fire, as you can see, and it gets quite annoying. So you could definitely lower someone's health because he was just on full health there, and now he's already that low just because of how many times I've hit him with it. But yeah, it's actually quite strong and it's extremely annoying because it is exactly what range is meant to be. It is meant to be a hit and run class, and this is essentially the pinnacle of that in a sense. But yeah. You can also chase down people who are, using their summons to escape, and you can kind of catch up to them. Not only this, but depending on your ninja tool might do quite a lot of damage, and, when you replenish it and you use it correctly and you don't miss, then, you could get the full value of your ninja tool. As you saw, that was almost most of his health. And even if you are getting chased down, it's quite difficult for a person to actually chase you down. They might get close and they might actually hit you, but that depends purely on your movement speed. And I do have a little bit of movement speed boost because of my outfit, but other than that, that's the only default movement speed I have. Obviously, if someone tries to hit you with, for example, a summoning bird or something like that, you could probably easily dodge it. Same with most ninjutsus, you can kind of easily dodge it as long as the tracking isn't over the top strong. Otherwise, you might get hit by it, or unless you're really good at dodging, then, you can probably avoid it. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. The main thing is you don't want to also stand still in the air because, you could get skyomi'd and hit and killed. Or in some other way or fashion. It could be Amaterasu, it could be anything in the end. Here is the attack animation, if you ever wondered what it looks like. And, when you do use it, you want to make sure that you're at the right elevation to do it. Because from the ground, if you use it, yes, you can technically be at a high height, but if you use it incorrectly, you could kind of end up being very close to the ground. And I don't know what exactly cancels the height, but I assume it's most likely just terrain, or maybe dodging last second, or moving before the actual upwards flight movement happens. So it's one of those that makes it so that then the Angelic Advent wings are on the ground instead of the air like it's supposed to be. Now, obviously, it has its advantages that way, because when you're in the air, throwing down stuff is a little more difficult than throwing stuff from the ground. So, if you have it on the ground, technically you can spam much easier and throwing it like a normal kunai. However, in the air, you have more protection and more of an actual survivability, so it helps in some sort of way like that. As you can see, if you can kind of pester them, it's going to be very annoying for them. especially if you have ninja tools that also are kunais. Sometimes the most effective strategy is to simply go ahead and restock your ninja tools instead of flying around and actually using the ninjutsu, but that's not often always the case. And that heavily relies and depends on your ninja tool. So the only real times that you would kind of want to abuse or use Angelic Advent is especially when you see someone with hyper armor, with standard hyper armor, instead of something like Susano or Ishiki's kind of eyes and stuff like that. And you want to make sure that when you are using it, you're not somewhere where you'd be limited in your flights. Other than that, it is incredibly strong, especially when you pair it with your teammates to do something like, for example, Tsukiyomi and Angelic Advent, which essentially paralyzes the enemy, and then you can go ahead and continuously throw your paper kunais in order to do the damage, and then Tsukiyomi by the end of it will go ahead and do the last bit of damage and kill them, or you will do the last bit of damage since usually they survive on 1 HP. But it's especially effective in moments where an enemy is using a long ninjutsu. For example, Dragon Flame Song from Kid Sasuke's DLC. He has a very long ninjutsu where it has an animation that essentially keeps waiting until the very end where he has to spew the fire. And because of that, it actually allows you to go ahead and use Angelic Advent or any other ninjutsu, or even attacking, to go ahead and actually use his hyper armor against him and go ahead and deal an insane amount of damage within that short time, as you'll see in this clip now. So as he's using it, I am literally the only one hitting him right now in this moment, and you can see how his health went from full health into literally almost dead. He is literally only maybe 2 heavy attacks away, maybe 1 or 2 attacks away from literally dying. So, it's quite effective actually. When you have the very slight, temporary moment to actually use it, you can do an insane amount of damage with it. And it just purely relies more so on your teamwork with your teammates and, maybe your clan members or whatever, to actually get this to be extremely useful. Now, obviously, could I have just used Senbon and probably melted his health away in the same way, but even faster? Yes. But, alternatively, I don't have to waste my Senbons, and I can still keep them as a backup. So that's the reason why Angelic Advent is quite good in that situation as well. Not only this, but Angelic Advent, because it covers, your ninja tools immediately, it makes it insane when you have a ninja tool that essentially normally, you would have to go ahead and wait on, you would have to normally only use once, or maybe the damage output of it is extremely strong, but you might not have too much of an opportunity to use it. It literally allows you to, use that. It allows you to go ahead and use the ninja tool and, get a free damage, I guess. It allows you to get free damage and free utility, and it basically makes the cost of everything that you currently have to fight for free instead of having to actually pay for it. So, if I have to go ahead and use a ninja tool that would actually, disrupt someone, like for example Purple Lightning, I can essentially just use Angelic Advent and then get Purple Lightning again. Just as easily as that. And then if I seriously wanted to, I could literally just run a pure, literally a pure ninja tool Purple Lightning build, right? I could have Kamui Bond, right, which would reduce my ninjutsu cooldown time after I've used Angelic Advent. So that allows me to use Purple Lightning 3 times in a row if I seriously wanted to, which is fucked up and kind of overpowered to an extent. So literally, if you paired that with an SS Plus weapon, then you're fine. You've essentially got a whole build there. You don't need anything else. But yeah, literally, I can use Purple Lightning in the first go. I could use Angelic Advent to get Purple Lightning again, so that's the second time I've used it. And then I could use Kamui Bond to go ahead and get Angelic Advent back again, and then I could use it again, and that makes it the third time that I can actually go ahead and have Purple Lightning. Not only this, there is actually a accessory called Divine Grace, I think, and it's like an earring or something. And literally it makes it so that then it disables your secret technique, however, at the cost of literally reducing your Ninja Tool cooldown time from anything that would be 12 seconds to literally maybe 2 or 3. Which is kind of insane, because that applies to all Ninja Tools, and that's kind of fucked. Because if you can get your Ninja Tools immediately back, then, imagine something like Digital Shrapnel with that shit. Like, holy fuck. You're just gonna have infinite kunais. You can just infinitely spam that shit. It does not matter. Especially if you make it so that then your outfit, like, also reduces your digital cooldown time. So, it's a very broken accessory. But that's the accessory itself, and that's not part of the video, since it's meant to be more about Angelic Advent. But you know what I mean. You can literally go ahead and build around it. Now, even as you saw, Universal Pool didn't actually interrupt me in that situation right there, which is kind of crazy to think about, right? Because even I didn't know this, because I've never had someone use Universal Pull on me while I was using Angelic Advent. But it doesn't actually get rid of my wings. It actually pulls me down, but I could still technically fight back with the paper kunais, which is crazy to me. So, that's another thing to actually look out for, but it's not exactly a weakness, and it's not exactly a complete debuff. But yeah, it is insane though. Other than that, you can use this very effectively for flag battle, because you can pick up the flag, use this ninjutsu, and just essentially fly across the map. Not only this, but you could actually use Moonlit Medicine and then use this, and literally be invisible and fly around with the wings, even though the wings don't actually go invisible, so everyone can genuinely see where you are. But, it's kind of funny. But if someone has Sharingan, you're cooked. But other than that, the actual ninjutsu itself, very strong ninjutsu, not used because it's kind of toxic, but at the same time, I don't think it's used just because people, don't want to turn the game into some sort of a kunai spam fest, which I agree with. But at the same time, it is incredibly fun to use, and honestly I might start using it again, since it is quite strong, and I feel like some potential ninja tools could be abused from this. But other than that, I like, kind of making new metas. That's my entire thing. I actually am creative, but at the same time I'm creative in a destructive way, where I will make new metas or new kind of builds that essentially reduces whatever meta that exists currently into whatever meta I'm using. So, if a full team is running Purple Lightning only, the enemy team can only do so much, since Water Pillar has a cooldown, Sand Shield has a cooldown, their Hyper Armor has a cooldown, everything has a cooldown except Purple Lightning, especially if you pair it with something that will give you your Ninja Tools back literally 4 times in a row. So yeah, all 3 times more accurately. But anyway, that's the video, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys soon.